So the next section I'm going to talk to you about is the My Sites module. And in this section, we will cover off how to update meter names, import and populate site alias classification and subclassification information. The classification refers to the type of building and its main use, for an example, school. The subclassification provides more detail, for an example, primary or secondary school. And then we're going to talk about how to import and populate meter and site square meter information, and also to create and update operational hours in the system. Once I've updated all this information, I will go back into the data analysis module just to show you how it all works on the graphs and reports. And the key features of this is to customize your meter and site details to ensure your data is more meaningful and relevant to you and other users. So first of all, we go into the My Sites module. You've got a number of options here. So in meter administration, you have 3 folder options. I'm going to show you how to update your meter name in the meter tree. So I'm going to go into meter alias admin. And for Omega demo, I'm going to search for it first of all. And I'm going to put in the name. Then the MPAN. And select save. Now that will be updated in the meter tree. You can also export this information into a CSV file if you've got a large portfolio and you hold this information on another system rather than manually going through and populating. Also, in the meter administration field, you've got the option to update your square meter data. So this is my portfolio here, and if I wanted to update the information here, I could put in the gross square meters 500 and the net as 300. What you will notice here is some of this information requires a start date, and that's just because it can be versioned. So you can change the square meter to be building if the school's expanded, for example. So I'm going to put a start date in of and select save. And you can see it's successfully updated. Back into My Sites, and I'll move on to the site administration. And I'm going to go into site alias admin. So all these have got a generic name that we've uploaded into our system. But if you wanted something more meaningful to you, we could import that information into the system. So first of all, I'm going to go to Omega demo, and I'm going to call this site test. And whiskey demo test site 2. Sierra demo test site 3, and Charlie demo test site 4. I'm going to save that information. That is how the site name will now be viewed in the meter tree and across the system. And I'm going to go back into site administration and show you how to update your site classification. So you can see there's some classifications in there. That doesn't matter. I'm going to change these for you now, show you how to change them. So mega demo, I'm just going to call schools. I'm going to change the start date to 2016. Whiskey demo, again, call schools. Sierra, I'm going to change that to schools. And what this will allow me to do is to filter on these particular sites in the meter tree if I just wanted that information. So I'm just going to update the start date. And if we select save, you'll see that's successfully updated. So this will allow me to filter on the schools in the meter tree, them 4 particular sites. But what I want to do is I want to drill down even further, and that means going into the site sub-classification. So back into site administration from my sites, and we go into the site sub-classification. And again, you can see some have got a primary school. So I'm going to leave Charlie Demo as primary school. And I'm going to put Sierra Demo as a primary school as well. Whiskey Demo is a secondary school. And so is Omega Demo. So I'll just put and just update the dates in line with what I've done in the classification. So we'll change that to 2016. Once I've done that, if I select save, every single site should have a start date in there. Just make you aware of that. So that's been successfully saved now. And then I'm going to show you finally in the My Sites module, I'm going to show you how to create an operational hours. And this allows you to report on your opening times and non-opening times. So I'm going to create a new one. So I'm going to select Add Operational Hours. I've just given the operational hours a name of Test Site 1 weekday operational hours. And I'm going to put the start time at 6 o'clock in the morning and the end time of 7 o'clock in the evening. Now I want it to be active, and I want it to be active for the weekdays, so I'm just going to select the weekdays from the days, but not Saturday and Sunday. Again, I want it to be active throughout the year, so I'm going to select all the months of the year. But if you are seasonal based, or you can change that in line, so you can have multiple operational hours. It requires a start date, but doesn't require an end date, so I'm going to put 01/01/2018 and select save. Now I will return back to the data analysis module and show you how all this works. So back into data analysis and new report. And on the left hand side, if we go into the meters tree, and first of all, I'm going to select filters, and I'm going to filter on real only meters, the site classification as schools, and just utilities as electricity, because you can report on other utilities. So that's taken the number of meters that I've got access to down to 4. And if I wanted to show all them, I could do the select all option. I'm going to select all, and you'll notice as well that the names have changed in the meter tree. So before there were Omega Demo, Sierra Demo, Whiskey Demo, and Charlie Demo. They're now test type 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's because we've updated the details. So I've selected select all, and I'm just going to do a sum up here. And in this box here, I'm just going to delete that out, and I'm going to select schools and select continue. Once I've made my selection, all I need to do is click update. And what this will show me is the individual schools of the bar chart, and then a line that indicates the total usage across the schools for the last 12 months. It may take a few seconds longer to run, but that's just because of the amount of data that we are looking at. So as you can see there, if you hover over it, it will give you the value in kilowatt hours for the individual schools and then the total itself. And you've got that information in the stats below, and you've also got it in the table view, which is all exportable. And I'm just going to save this report, and I'm just going to call it schools. So I'm going to give it a name. And we're going to save the report. If I go back to data analysis and new report, I'm going to go back into the meters tree, and I'm going to select test site 1. And this is also where I updated the MPAN to give it the site name in front of it as well. So if I select the meter and select update, you can see as before it brings back the consumption for the last 12 months. If I wanted to go into February, and we will look at the 25th of February to the 1st of March. Let's just go into March. And we'll look at it at a raw level, select update. So that's the pattern for the previous week. And in the options tab now, I can go into report options, and I can go to report type, and I can create an operational hours report. So in here, I've got the one that we created earlier, test site 1, weekday opening hours. I click on there and create the operational hours report. You will see it will highlight the non-operational times in dark blue, with the light being when the site is operational. That's at a half-hourly level. If you wanted to look at it at a daily level, you can click update, and it will split it down into a stacked bar chart, the information there. At any point you can remove that, so you just come back in to options, report type, and remove operational hours. It will also break down the information below for you. And if we go back into the raw data and select update, you've also got another option to highlight that information. So we're going to highlight. You can highlight the weekends on there, or you can highlight your operational hours. So I'm going to come down here, and I'm going to highlight the operational hours on there. It just puts a faint grey bar across at the back of that, and I'll be looking to highlight this data here. There's not quite the drop off, so you might want to look at when people are leaving the building. Should the operational hours be moved to 8 o'clock in the evening rather than 7, because people are still working in the building? If it's a school, for example, cleaners and caretakers might be in afterwards, and they might be doing some work in there. So that's something to consider as well. Okay, thank you very much.